Scorecard Economics and Quantity. Most scorecard printers charge similar prices. What you pay will vary widely, however, based on paper stock, card size, and quantity ordered. The paper stock you print on will heavily influence price. If you're on a tight budget, you'll probably want to stick with whatever paper your scorecard printer offers as their house stock, assuming, of course, that the paper is writable and stiff. Card size is the next big influencer of price. Scorecards come in multiple sizes, but generally speaking, they are either large or small. Small cards are typically 6 by 8 or 4.5 by 12. Large cards are commonly 6 by 12 or 5 by 12. Ultra-large cards can be up to 6 by 18. The third and largest factor that affects price is the quantity ordered. 5,000 cards costs less than 20,000, which costs less than 40,000. But the cost per card on the 5,000 order is much more than on the 20,000 order, while the 40,000 order is more cost-effective than both of them. Here's why. In this example, the amount of paper and ink used for each card is the same 3/4 of a cent. The more you print, the more the total cost of paper and ink will be. But the cost per card remains the same. Next to consider are fixed costs. Getting the press ready for printing, making the color plates, cleaning up after printing, etc. All of these things must be done, and it takes the same amount of time no matter what the quantity is. In this illustration, we show the fixed cost totaling $500. When you add the paper, ink, and fixed costs together, you can see that the cost per card changes dramatically. The total cost of 5,000 cards is $537.50, or 10 3/4 cents per card. Compare that to 20,000 cards for $650 at 3 1/4 cents per card, and 40,000 cards for $800 at 2 cents per card. These are just made-up numbers, but you can see that even though you're spending more on paper and ink on the larger order, you're actually saving money because that fixed printing cost is the same. However, because you get a better price per card by ordering more, many people are tempted to order 2 or even 3 years' worth of scorecards at once. Don't. It's Murphy's Law of ordering cards. As soon as that 3-year supply shows up, you'll learn you're going to be re-rated next spring and still have 40,000 cards left, or a freak rainstorm floods hole 14 and you have to turn it from a par 5 into a par 3. We always recommend ordering just 1 year's supply of scorecards. It's usually a big enough amount that you still get price breaks, while not being the end of the world if you have to make changes earlier than you originally thought. Of course, if you know you'll have changes coming, but are running low, you'll want to order just enough to get you by until those changes come in, at which time you can place your large annual order. So how many cards is a year's supply of cards? A good rule of thumb is to take 2/3 of the total number of rounds at your facility in a year. For example, if your course does 30,000 rounds per year, you'll probably want to order about 20,000 scorecards. Or if you do 50,000 rounds, you'll need 33,000 cards. Most printers have standard quantities for printing, so in this case it may require ordering 40,000 cards every 15 months. Bear in mind that this is just an estimate. Actual card usage on your course will vary from year to year based on a variety of factors, including weather, number of rounds played that year, and visitors taking the card as a souvenir. But a look at your historical rounds and the size of your scorecard orders should confirm the annual number of cards used. It also pays to watch your scorecard inventory carefully, and always place your next order before opening your last box. You need to allow enough time for changes, printing, and delivery. Check with your printer to see how much time is needed to turn around an order. It is no fun to run out of cards, and expensive too. We covered a lot of material in this section. Here's a recap. The price you pay for scorecards will vary widely based on quantity, paper stock, and size of the card. Paper stock is the first variable that affects price. We talked about paper in a previous section, so we won't discuss that in length here. Scorecard size is the next factor. The larger the card, the more expensive it will be. Scorecards come in 3 general sizes. Small cards are usually 6 by 8 or 4.5 by 12. Large cards are typically 6 by 12 or 5 by 12. Ultra-large cards can be up to 6 by 18. Quantity is the final and largest variable that affects price. The more you order, the greater the total cost will be. Ordering a larger quantity gets you a better price per card, however, because of how the printing process works. Don't order too many cards, though. You don't want to get new ratings and still have 2 years' worth of cards left. We recommend ordering 1 year's supply of scorecards at a time. It's usually enough to benefit from the price breaks, while not being the end of the world if you have to make changes earlier than you originally thought. A year's supply of cards is typically about 2/3 the number of your annual rounds. For example, if you do 30,000 rounds per year, you'll need about 20,000 cards. Remember, keep track of your inventory and always place your next order before opening your last box.